Good evening, Dice Roll fans, and welcome back to D&D Self-Diceolation, a Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition campaign set in the world of Eberron. My name is Tom, and I'll be your Dungeon Master for this evening. Joining me tonight are some of our returning group of regular adventurers. First of all, Mr. James Oakley. It's so hot, I'm getting tongue-tied.
I'm Oakley. I'm playing Kallus, the human wizard.
Joining us as well, Mr. James Harper.
Hi there, I am James Belgarian Harper, and I will be playing Mycure Bedrock, the Warforged Storm Surge Sorcerer.
And finally, with our first arrivals, is Mr. Richard Badger.
Hello, I'm Badger. I am playing Mick Dagger, the Swift-Ride Strifter Rogue. That's really hard to say.
It is. It is.
Isn't it today? My mind's melting.
Impossibly hot today. So this may be a shorter session than usual if we all...
And they put me... I'm back in the office now, and the aircon unit's in the lounge at Carry. It's terrible.
Oh, no. Potentially joining us later on will be James Lacey, who plays Daisy Druke, the Hobgoblin wizard.
Can we loot him in the meantime?
Nope.
Right.
Cool.
Well, we'll loot him when he gets here.
Speaking of sweet loot, do we have a sponsor this week?
We certainly do.
Oh, take it away.
Okay. Has the weight of the world got you down? Has the shite of Shan tarnished what was once a glittering self-esteem? Hopefully it's not dulled that gold of yours. Come to the Panaceum, where the gold standard is what you pay for. Each treatment will help you forget about your worries, that tension, and most importantly, the amount of money you spent for your time here. Located high enough so the smell of the commoners won't taint your experience, House Jarasco has got you covered emotionally, spiritually, and physically. Not fiscally, you cover that yourself. So come to the Panaceum today, tomorrow, and every other day, and try our expansive treatments today.
Fantastic.
Well,
These are definitely worth the money we're totally getting given to shill their services.
right.
I'm getting paid.
You guys are getting paid.
You guys are getting paid.
Right. So, tonight's adventure takes place so about 3 or 4 days after the last adventure, retroactively known as Despicable Bree. After settling the dispute in Keth, the Smash and Grab has rolled on into the nation of Kobara. The jungles of this region are home to ancient secrets and those that would guard them. In spite of its hostility, brave and resourceful settlers have begun the arduous work of trying to tame this wildland. Your destination is the frontier town of Whitecliff, nestled at the base of the Endworld Mountains. Dion has indicated that there is a consignment of goods for the Boromar clan which require your care in transporting back to Shan. So, we pick up. It is later in the day, sort of late afternoon. And the Smash and Grab is rolling its way through fairly dense jungle, steeped on either side, where the road has sort of cut a track through. You've left behind some of the more civilized, more built-up areas close to the coast, and you're heading northwards inland. The air, much like the real world right now, is incredibly warm and humid. There is the smell of damp vegetation, faint odours of rot.
I only think that Nacho the cheese skeleton smells amazing right now.
I was just thinking that. He's thinking he's a little bit sweaty right now.
Yeah, we should probably address that. So, quick flashback to the end of last adventure in the town of Keth. Whilst you were investigating the sepulchre of St. Calcius, Kallus decided it would be a really good idea to try and cast Animate Dead on the remains of the saint buried there. Unfortunately, the spell backfired a little bit and has managed to reanimate, for lack of a better word, a cheese skeleton named Nacho. So Nacho has been reanimated from the cheese-like remains of the Greater Bremen that you fought, who had taken up residence in the sepulchre. What is Nacho up to at the moment?
I think it's just kind of melting at this point. I don't actually know.
How often do you have to keep control of this damn thing?
Every 24 hours. It's
Fortunately,
worth it.
if you have a check on Nacho's stat block,
Yes.
Nacho can be contained within a suitable container.
Does he melt down?
As long as he has 1 pound of his form, he can be
Yeah.
stored.
So as long as at least 1 pound of demon cheese remains and is stored in a suitable container, it can be used to reanimate Nacho at any point.
Worth it.
So it's up to you. Nacho can either be
A sweaty skeleton in the
a
corner.
sweaty a sweaty cheese skeleton, or they can be in their stored form in the
It's
in the
it's
fridge.
gonna continue to be out. I'm gonna
Okay.
I'm gonna leave it on the roof. I think. Can I put it on the roof of the smash and grab?
Yeah, the animate dead spell grants you, full control
Excellent.
over it for 24 hours.
I'm gonna make him sit on the roof.
Just see. Let's have a look. See how long we've got in there. Okay, so I'd say you've probably got about 7 hours left on that before the animate dead spell wears off.
Okay.
What are the rest of you up to? So just from outside of the carriage, every so often you can just hear like bird chirps, the occasional sort of shaft of sunlight glinting through the trees, catching the windows of the smash and grab.
I tried talking to Claude a little bit because we share the same language, but he's busy now talking. He's busy trying to navigate through the harsh weeds and vines of this sweltering rainforest that we found ourselves in, I think.
Yeah. Make me a perception check, please.
Okay. Oh, God. Okay. Let me get out the dice.
We've rested, by the way, right?
You've rested, yes. You will have already lost 1 expenditure of the animate dead spell.
Okay.
That is a perception 13.
13. Okay, so as you poke your head through the little flap at the front of the carriage to have a chat with Claude, and you can see that they are quite industriously sort of moving back and forth between the various controls for the smash and grab. They're sort of, grabbing a lever, shifting gear, checking the road ahead, checking the map that they've got. There's like a little what looks like a picture frame set into the dashboard, and you can see that it has been enchanted so that it's constantly moving the map as you make a path, and you can see there is a little glowing line leading away from the centre of the map that Claude is following as they try and navigate their way through the jungle. Every so often just hear fucking just cursing under his breath. As you look out, you can see from inside of the carriage there is there's almost sort of imperceptible movement, but as soon as your head goes through the hatch and you become aware of the sort of outside perspective, this is really like bumpy off-road material. This is a track that wasn't really designed for anything with wheels. This was designed for mounts, sort of animal traffic. It's wide enough to get the carriage through, but it's not
It's
not
a pretty
ideal.
picture.
No. Mick, what are you up to?
I have acquired a page from a book that's been lying about in the carriage, strapped it to my dagger, and is using it as a fan because it's warm.
That's absolutely fair. Can you make me a? Let's go. Yeah, let's call this a perception check from you as well, please.
That is 18.
Fantastic. So, yeah, not unfamiliar with quickly cobbling together something out of necessity. You've managed to make a fairly decent personal fan. You're getting a decent breeze over you. It's not doing a huge amount, but it is helping somewhat. As you're sat there, just gently fanning yourself, desperately trying to beat the heat, you hear a thud from the side of the carriage. Now, you can see through the window at the front where Mike is open to poke his head through that could have been that the carriage hit a pothole. Could be just a particularly large rock it's gone over. And then you hear another one. And it doesn't marry up with any shift in perspective through the view hole. Micah, as you've got your head through with the rushing of the wind coming past and the general cursing of Clod and the sounds of the engine, it's difficult to make anything out, but you just about hear the second thud against the side of the carriage.
Ah.
Did
Anybody catch that?
It's a tad odd.
Huh.
Kallus, can you make me an Arcana check, please?
Yes.
Oh, shit biscuits.
16.
Okay. Whilst Nacho's been up on the roof, what have you been up to?
I am gonna copy what Mick's doing, I think, with his dagger, and I'm just gonna cast Mage Hand and try and get it to carry out some kind of fanning action on us both.
That's fine.
With
yeah.
whatever it can find in the carriage, cloth, paper, a book, whatever's to hand.
Yeah, I'd say the mage hand itself. You've tried to find something that would be suitable for the hand itself to carry, and eventually you settle on just, you know what, the fan takes the form of sort of a large, almost like webbed flipper, which has exactly the same effect, but with a much greater success than the piece of paper on a dagger. As you hear the exchange between Michael and Mick, you become aware of a certain sense of agitation from Nacho.
Okay.
Not being in line of sight, you can't see exactly what's going on, but you pick up on this certain feeling of sort of agitation and whatever the cheese equivalent of an adrenaline rush is.
Is that a fondue feeling?
I was going to go with the fondue thing. Kallus, your skeleton isn't melting on the top, is it, and dropping on the side?
You might be right. Yeah, I'm gonna do it. I feel okay about it. I'm gonna poke my head out the top just to have a look around.
Okay. As you open up the top hatch and step out, you can see the whole jungle canopy above you with the light sort of just playing down through the leaves. As you come out of the interior of the carriage, you become aware of the sort of uneven nature of the road as everything's rocking back and forth, and you can see that Nacho has got a sort of fairly decent purchase on the roof. It's almost as if like their feet have melted slightly just to give them a slightly better grip. And as you look up, you can see that emerging from Nacho's chest is the back end of a javelin. And they are sort of, as best they can, just trying to aim some fondue forks off to the side. They've got one sort of up by the side of their head, ready to throw.
I'll just shout back down to the guys. I think we've got a problem. And then I'll try and look around to see what fired it or threw it.
It's too hot for this shit. What's going on?
It really
I think
is.
I peek my head out, like a meerkat. I kind of peek my head out the canopy and kind of spin around looking for something.
Okay. So, I would say from your position, Mike, or if you're climbing into the canopy at the front and having a look around, you can see that there are two javelins sticking out of as you're looking, your right, the carriage's left side
Right.
panelling.
Yeah.
As you're looking back along the carriage.
So yeah, I take a look around on that like kind of 180 angle, so from the back all the way to like the front left of Clod's view, because I imagine Clod's still riding. So
Yes, yeah.
So from 12 to 6 basically.
Yeah. As you're looking around, you can see that the actual speed that the carriage is, the smash and grab is making isn't terribly fast. It is slow enough for a group of figures you can see just making their way through the foliage on the side of the carriage. You can just see these shapes darting from bush to bush, and then out of one of them, another javelin embeds itself in the side of the carriage. I'm going to need everyone to roll for initiative, please.
Hooray!
As you are under attack.
Of course we are. I just never understand what we've done to deserve such, shit. Okay.
Was it
Six-
trash?
6 is good, right?
I got 9.
Let's have a look.
Do you want 6? If you want it, you can have it.
Okay, I have bought that. Let's try that again. Da, 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 da. Bam. Beautiful. That's exactly what I need. Right, so where are my... Oh no, it's been so long I've forgotten where all of my Avray commands have gone to. There they are. Bam. Got it. Right, so running down the group, go to Kallus first of all. Initiative, please.
9.
9. Mike, you're?
9.
6.
And Mick.
12.
We're going to die.
Beautiful.
I'm gonna get javelinched.
So before we
Die.
before we jump into initiative order, I just want to get a better idea of where everyone is. So, Kallus, you're currently sort of periscoping up along with Nacho.
Yep.
Mick, you are sort of at the hatch.
Yeah,
Yes.
just yelling through it.
Yep, and Mike, you're up front with Claude, the carriage.
Yes, that's
Swear
right.
to God, you better be dead or dying up there.
Okay, so top of the round, I was going to say, Kallus and Mike, would be able to see this easily. Mick, can you just make me a perception check, please?
14.
Okay, sounds good enough. So you can see now a little bit clearer these shapes moving through the bushes, and every so often you see this sort of like serpent-like head pop up before a sort of muscular scaled arm carrying a javelin just launches another one at the carriage. And you reckon there's maybe about half a dozen of these things darting between the bushes, just chucking javelins at you.
Up, chucking those bloody spears at me.
Okay. So, top of the round then, we have got Mick. Kallus, you're on deck. Mick, what are you up to?
Gonna yell into the bushes. Who are you? What do you want?
You are met with absolute silence.
Creepy.
I'd say
Okay.
I'd say that talking it's a free action because you're not trying to,
Okay.
you're not trying to intimidate or persuade them or anything like that. You're just asking a question, so that would be free action if you wanted to do something else.
I am just going to, in the sort of area I've seen the shadows, shoot a random shot.
Okay. Let's say. So you're aiming for a specific spot, but not a specific target.
Yeah, sort of like roughly where we've been seeing them running along. I'm just gonna like sort of fire just ahead of where I've seen them.
Okay, that's fine. If you can just go ahead and make me a ranged attack, please.
That's 16. 22.
Okay. Let's have a look. Yep. So, as you sort of lead what you think is your target, it actually hits something in the bush, and you see that from the top of the bush, this figure emerges. Again, it's this sort of reptilian, snake-like head, very, very muscular-looking upper body, covered in these dark green scales, which would be nice camouflage against the bushes where they're not standing upright. And you can see in one hand it's got this particularly nasty looking spiked club, and in the other it's got a javelin ready to go. Can you roll me some damage, please?
Tidy.
That is the wrong dice for that one. I want that one. So used to using daggers. 8 damage.
Fantastic. So yeah, they are the arrow, like it lands and it's just caught them square in the chest. You can see that they don't appear to be wearing any armor or anything. It's just sort of jammed into the scales. Anything else from yourself?
No, I'll leave it at that.
No worries. Okay. Kallus, you're up. Mike, you're on deck.
I will cast magic weapon on Mick's bow or whatever it was he just used then.
Okay.
As my bonus action.
What does that look like?
Just touches it and then a sort of, well, whatever colour aura he fancies appears around the bow, makes it magical.
Fair enough. So yeah, Mick, you are now in
and
possession of a lovely glowing bow.
to get +1 to attack and damage on it. And then I will, because it's the only other thing I can do, cast Firebolt at whatever I can see or in the general direction of something if I can't see it.
So at the moment, you can see the reptile creature that Mick has exposed from cover, and you've got a vague
will do.
idea of some other shapes moving through the bushes.
I'll go for that one then, since I can
Okay.
already identify it.
Go for
So-
it. Roll to hit, please. You are looking to beat a 15.
14.
Fortunately, it goes wide. They sort of
Oh, damn it.
get wise to what's going on and just duck back into the bushes.
Well, balls.
Anything else from yourself?
I will sort of just position Nacho in just a general defensive
That is actually
position.
a fair point. I forgot that Nacho does actually get around.
Can't remember if he fights on my initiative or. I think it does, because it doesn't
Believe
require any
they
action.
do. Let me just double check.
If he does, he's going to throw a fondue fork at the same one that I tried to.
Let's have a look. And then it does the thing with the stuff. Okay, so yeah, it's a bonus action to give them a specific command, otherwise they will just defend themselves against
okay.
hostile creatures. So I'd say in the act of defending itself, Nacho would be attempting to chuck a fondue fork
Very well.
at the critter in the bushes. So if you can make a ranged attack for
And he
Nacho.
still misses. I know full well that's going to miss. That was a 5.
Well, you guys are just better than me. I really need to pee.
Yep, that's fine. Yeah,
that
so
was trash.
yeah, rolling a 5, fondue forks get a +4 to hit, so that'd be a 9 in total. Unfortunately, you are right. That is
Yeah.
the required 15. So, the shining metal covered in gooey cheese of a fondue fork launches itself into the bushes. You see Nacho almost sort of stamps their feet in the sort of sluggish, undead kind of show of frustration. And you can see another Nacho fork is kind of Wolverining its way out of his hand into a throwing position.
Awesome.
Is there? I don't know what the gender is on a cheese skeleton. We'll come back to that later. So, Mike, you're up, and then we're back to the top of the round. What are you up to?
So I'm gonna kind of hold my index and middle finger together, and a small ball of fire starts swirling and spinning, like just on the tips.
Yep.
Balanced on
That's
the
the tip.
tips, and then I fling it out with a flick of the wrist, and I cast Mike's Molten Masonry, and so a big 30-foot column of fire shoots out as like a barrier in front of the riders for them to run into it.
Okay, so you're just making this line of flame sort of from the road out into the bush.
Yeah.
Okay,
This
nice.
big column of fire, and I'm going to transmute it.
Ooh.
And I'm going to make it acid damage.
I came back at the
Acid.
wrong moment then. All I heard is flick of the wrist, and all the thoughts give it a twist of flick of the wrist. It's what the showman said. Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay. So, yeah.
So the riders have to pass a dex saving throw of 15.
Okay. So, I would say that's going to be... Is it a dex check or is it a dex save?
Dex save.
And they're looking to beat. What's the DC on that?
15.
See if that works. That does not.
It's a big 30-foot long column of green fire.
Nice.
Yeah.
Hellfire.
Fire. Da, da, da.
Fire! Exclamation mark.
Yes, that's that. So I'm just making sure I can get the. Okay. So, got that sorted to memory now. So, as the one that's already taken a couple of hits is not as fast as the others, you hear 5 successive screams, this sort of like hissing of agony as they just run through the wall of flaming acid, I guess.
The fire.
You can see that there are 5 of them now just desperately trying to deal with being acided.
Incinerated.
That's gonna need some damage roll there, please.
Hell yeah. Oh, that's 12, baby.
Okay. So each one of them takes 12 points of acid damage. They will not appreciate that, but thank you. So yeah, you can
That's
see that
alright. I don't
there's
appreciate having fondue forks hurled at me.
the
Or
fondue
little
forks were going from Nacho to the dudes. They've been
Oh,
chucking
okay.
javelins back. They're like big
Okay.
fondue forks.
Yeah, alright. Well, fuck javelins. They're even bigger.
Fondue forks are fine. Don't diss them. It's all good.
Okay,
He's helping.
Okay. And I end my turn.
Fantastic. Let me just
Said Yugi to Seto Kaiba.
Four. So. What's this?
Huh?
Yeah. Yep.
Huh?
All updated.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Okay. They weren't best pleased with that.
Uh-oh.
Anything else from yourself?
I might duck a bit.
Okay. I'd say that the sort of cab does give you at least half cover.
That'll
on
do.
there.
Yeah, then
So
I'm all good
it's,
then.
what is half cover? It's +2. Yeah, so you get a +2 bonus to AC because it's covering at least half of your body.
Sounds good to me.
Which will probably come in useful because there is a raft of javelins coming your way, my friend.
Hooray!
What is your
Hi.
armor class?
13 if it's +2 now.
Wow.
No, it's going to be if I'm what's the
Let's just say I made it. Why do we have to go through so much effort? Let's just say, oh.
This is me trying to remember how Avray works because it's been so long. So it's that and that and that. That. Okay, right. It's alright. If I can get it sussed in my head now, it makes things quicker later down the road. And you say your AC was 13 with the bonus from cover.
Yes.
Okay, with the exception of one of them, all of them just go into the side of the cab. One of them manages to strike you square in the shoulder for a terrifying total of 8 points of piercing damage.
Oh,
You die.
The one that didn't run into the wall of acid, however, is going to take a shot at Nacho for having the audacity to try and throw cheese
No!
forks. That is
Nacho.
what's Nacho's AC?
It is 13. Hey, that's actually pretty good.
It is not good enough though. Still gets hit.
Oh.
And so, well, not terribly. Nacho takes 3 points of piercing damage as a
Yay.
javelin strikes into their chest.
2, 3.
Those of you with vision of these creatures now can see that they are completely out of javelins and have drawn these terrifying looking spiked clubs and have pulled shields, again covered in this sort of array of like bone and stone spikes.
Oh,
Right, so we're back to top of round. Mick, you're up. Kallus, you're on deck.
okay.
Now I can see these creatures. Can I try and identify what the hell they are? Or would I have never ever seen this sort of thing before?
Make me a nature check. So, yeah.
Nature. Oh, good. I got a -1. 14.
Minus
Okay.
1.
You recognize these as lizard folk. They are a race of reptilian humanoids that live generally sort of in sort of more warmer, humid climates, such as the jungle you currently find
Quite
yourself
aggressive.
being pursued through. You've never encountered them personally before, but you know from various stories and such that they are very territorial, quite xenophobic. They very rarely deal with other races.
Racist.
Okay, well, that's my turn identifying them pretty much.
That's fine. You've still got bonus actions if you've got anything to do with that.
Yup.
Okay. Fair enough then. Kallus, you're up. Mike, you're on deck.
I am going to rank 1 magic missile at as many as I can see, 1 at each. I've got 3. So
You've got
3
sort of, I'd say, from your position, you've got sort of 2 distinct groups of targets. You've got the 5 at the front who are currently bearing the scars of Mike's acid wall, and you've got the one at the back that is currently got an arrow sticking out of its chest.
I'll go for the closest ones. 3 of the closest ones.
Okay, so that'd be basically the one with the arrow in its chest and 2 from the front group.
Yep.
Cool. Go for it.
Where the hell is my D4? There it is. So that's 4 damage on one, 3 damage on the other, and 5 damage on the third one.
So sorry, what were the second 2 numbers?
4 and 5. Or 3 and 5. Can't remember what I said now. Second one, the last one was 5 for sure.
That's fine. Oh, tits. Numbers, people, numbers. Okay, so yeah, the missile goes off. The one that's got the arrow out of its chest. Not happy about this situation. The two at the back have sort of, whilst they were trying to run ahead and keep pace, they've just recovered from chucking javelins, drawing the weapons, and now they are aware of your presence.
Crap. Mm. I'm just gonna stay where I am and just yeah, that's it.
Okay. Bam! Cool. Sorted. Right. Thank you, Avro, for finally paying the fucking attention. Okay. So anything else from yourself?
Nope.
Okay. Nacho, again, if you're not taking a bonus action to tell them what to do, they're just going to go ahead and fire at their favourite target, which is the loose one at the back. We go ahead and roll to hit for Nacho,
Oh
please.
my god! You rolled a 5 again.
So again,
This dice is getting banned.
as the fondue fork flies, the lizard folk just raises the shield. And it just a ping straight off the shield. Nacho swearing again and summoning another fondue fork. Okay, Mike, you're up, and then we're back to the top of the round.
Okay, so how far away are these lizard folk from the
No
carriage?
more than 15, 20 feet off the side of where you are, if not closer.
Okay, so I'm going to cast a first level thunder wave, and the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to just like hold my hands out and feel the tension of like thunder and lightning in my palms, and then just bring them together in a big clap, and it'll send out a thunder wave, and I'm going to extend it, which means I can reach out a little further.
Yep, that's fine.
I can double it to 30 feet, and I'll hit them.
Yep, okay, so they need to make, what's that?
A Constitution save of 15.
Con save 15, and this is going to hit all 5 of them at the front. So the two towards the back that have just been hit by magic missile just about manage to get out of the way and don't take the full brunt of it, but the 3 towards the front, they take the full hit on that.
Wonderful. So I'll roll some damage for you. That is 6 damage.
So 6 damage. So the 3 at the front take the full 6. The 2 at the back take 3. So
They're also shoved 10 feet away from us if they failed the Constitution throw.
okay, so the ones at the front are shoved a further 10 feet towards the foliage.
Yep, and a thunderous boom comes out, and it's audible out to 300 feet.
Okay. Oh my god, I'm so warm I can barely type. Bam. Right. Just let that catch up. Beautiful. So the 3 at the front that have been yeeted quite far back, the whole front group are looking decidedly ragged at this stage. And the one at the back looking none too fresh. Anything else from yourself?
No, that's it, thank you.
Okay. At this point, they've drawn swords and shield, and they're trying to close in on the carriage. As Mike's Thunderwave echoes through the jungle, you see various birds taking flight and animals you hadn't at this point really noticed getting the hell out of there. And then you hear what you think is like an echo, which is weird because so far most of the sounds have been kind of muffled from the bushes. But you hear this series of somewhat smaller but distinctly loud cracks and bangs coming from the other side of the carriage.
Ah, shit.
Okay, so the lizard folk at best are going to try and get closer to the carriage, but that's pretty much going to require all of their turn to make it through. So at this point, all 6 of these lizard men are very close to the edge of the road, and you can see them starting to sort of stow weapons and getting ready to leap up onto the vehicle. Mick, you're up. Kallus, you're on deck.
So you say they've got closer to the carriage now,
Yes, they have.
and I'm guessing they're grouped together a bit.
They are.
I will take a shot at one of them with one of the triple arrows.
Excellent.
Trick and drabble arrow.
Go for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Meh.
You're looking to
That's
beat
a
a...
19.
that definitely hits. Go ahead and roll some damage. So you've basically taken out... If they were in a sort of running line, going from the front of the back of the carriage to the front of the carriage, furthest back you've got the one that you've already hit with an arrow. Then you've got the 2 that were also hit by magic missile and the acid, and then you've got the 3 at the front, which were particularly mullered by Mike Yours Thunderwave. So it'd be from your position, the 3 at the back that you'd be getting. So, dude, guy with the arrow, and the 2 that have been hit by magic missile.
So, okay, that's 7 damage.
Excellent. Is that?
then you
I was
7
going to say.
damage to the initial target I hit.
Yep.
And then the other 2 have to make a DC saving throw of 10 on Dex.
So, Dex, do they get any bonuses for that? They do not. Both of them fail.
They both take 7 damage as well then.
Nice.
Nice.
I have to minus one of those arrows off my inventory.
Oh, my lovely arrows.
Yeah, I only
Okay.
bought 20 of them. And I'm guessing as they pretty much splinter as they hit the initial target, you can't really reuse them.
They're
We're also on the
use
speeding carriage in the middle of a rainforest. Finding
Okay.
them's going to be a bit tricky.
Yeah, I'll buy some.
So, the initial target just goes down and gets crushed under the rear carriage wheel as you carry on. The one to its right also follows a similar fate. The one that you've already hit just about manages to hold on long enough to take the arrow shot and grab onto one of the javelins that's embedded into the side of the carriage. But they are not looking good for it. You can see that there's like blood just sort of trickling out from between their fangs at this stage.
Why won't he die?
Dude, they're tough, man.
Why won't it read?
They're tough. Anything else from yourself?
Nope, that'll be it for this turn.
Okay, fantastic. So, Kallus, you're up. Mike, you're on deck.
So I am going to cast at 2nd level Scorching Ray at the 3 closest to me.
So that would be the one that's currently clinging to the javelin on the side of the carriage, and
That'll do.
2 from the front group that took the brunt of the Thunderwave.
Yep.
Cool. So, Scorching Ray. Remind me how that works?
Just have to roll to hit.
That's fine. Okay, so that's
I'm going to
3...
do the 3, obviously.
3 rolls to hit. We work back to front. Hit, then damage where applicable on each set. You're looking to beat 13 because they are not currently holding their shields.
Okay, so that's that one's an actual 1, so that misses.
Okay, dude at the back
That's
still clinging onto the
a-
javelin.
That's a 10 and a 17.
Okay. Dude at the back,
hit.
still clinging onto the javelin. Next one forward, manages to dodge it. Third
Yeah.
one, not so lucky.
Good. Which is 8 fire damage to the one. I'm not doing well with these rolls. It's 3 different dice.
Stout returns.
It's enough.
Indeed.
The you just light them up, and you can see as the carriage rolls on, they just collapse, screaming in a burning pile of nearby foliage.
And I will tell Nacho to attack whichever is the closest.
That would be the one that
following
he has been
Eyes.
currently trying to pummel. Who's currently hanging off of the javelin on the side of the carriage. I would say that is close enough for Nacho to make a melee attack rather than a ranged attack, if you would prefer.
Sound. So I will get him to use cheese knife on him then.
Okay. So you see Nacho just kind of retracts the fondue fork back into their hand and just pull. It looks like they're pulling their spine out, but they reveal this sort of this oversized cheese knife that's almost as tall as they are.
Excellent. Well, that wasn't so bad. That's a 13 to hit.
Just hits. Roll some damage.
Hooray! That is 4 slashing damage.
As you look down, you see the sword swipe down, and you can see that the hands are still clinging on desperately to the javelin. But that's the only bit still attached to the javelin. The rest of it is just dead lizard dude rolling back down the road.
Happy days.
They're yours and mine.
Stop. Anything else from yourself?
No, thank you.
Okay. Mike, you're up.
So there's one left, right?
There are 2 left at the front.
2?
Neither of them looking particularly healthy.
Of course they're not. I will. I will cast Firebolt, and I will do some weird, wacky sorcery things and twin it.
Whoa, wacky sorcery things.
So I will aim at both of them. Outrageous. Totally righteous, dude.
Okay, go for it. So that's going to be, if we do
roll.
it, hit then damage for each one individually for me, please. So on the first one, you're looking to beat 13. Hit.
Okay. Cool. So that's a 25.
That definitely hits.
That's a dirty 25.
That's still fine.
Oh, and a dirty 26.
So both hit.
Both hit. So I kind of put my hand into it like a finger gun kind of thing, and I go with
Right,
the
just stop
firebolt.
that then.
Okay.
Yeah, pew pew pew.
And if I can take the damage for the first one, please.
That would be 10 damage.
Yep. And for the second?
That would be 12 damage.
Beautiful. So yeah, as you finger gun with one hand, you finger gun with the second hand, and you go full imaginary 6-shooter on these 2 dudes. As you do, both of them take the hits and just burn up. And they are done for. As you are sort of turning to your party to celebrate, holding your hands up and cheering, you can see from your left, carriage right, a group of figures on horseback riding towards you. You're sort of down from the bushes, and you hear the lead rider. They're wearing these sort of long, heavy, almost like sort of raincoats kind of affair. You hear the lead one say, "Circle up, protect the carriage." And they start to move into defensive formation around you. you can now see as well, all of you, the road ahead, not completely clear, but you can see signs of civilization up ahead. And after a few more minutes of rickety, troubled travel, you pull into the town of Whitecliff.
Hooray!
We are now out of combat.
Nice.
Okay. As you arrive in the town, the lead figure on horseback, they sort of pull down a rain hood and pull off face covering. They're holding horse's reins in one hand, and in the other hand you can see what basically looks is rather like a lever action shotgun. It's got the whole sort of Terminator 2 swing arm handle going on. As you look around, you can see the other riders are all similarly attired with similar weapons. The figure addressing you also has on the front of their coat a large silver star that reads Sheriff. And they say, well, that was a bit close. And the voice is from a human female. Very, very short, almost buzz cut hair. Looking and goes, welcome. Welcome to Whitecliff. Our scouts said that there was a strange wagon coming down that no one had seen before, and that the Scalies were getting a little bit interested. We figured you might have strayed too far to their hunting grounds and needed a hand, but clearly not the case.
You're just addressing all of us in general.
Just a general address to the lot of you, sort of meerkatting up from the carriage.
Hi, Mike.
Hi, Sheriff Dorina de Grey. Pleased to make your acquaintance.
Hi.
I mean, you could have helped us earlier. Would have helped.
I mean, by the time we arrived, you seemed to have pretty much everything in hand. I mean, it's not often that we see a combination of skewering and barbecue at speed. It's impressive.
Thanks. I pointed my finger and then the fire came out.
I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty sharp eye on you.
So these serpentine lizard folk
Don't talk about
constantly
the eye.
attack?
You might wake him up.
I sort of lean around to sort of kind of cast the gaze past Mike and catch your eye. Mick, it's like, what do you say, friend?
Do these guys regularly attack people on the way here?
Only those who aren't familiar with the region. We maintain a relatively terse treaty, is probably too strong a word, with the lizard folk. Basically, we keep to our part of the forest, they keep to theirs. But occasionally, folks stray into the wrong territory, and it's pretty much kill-on-sight policy for intruders on both sides.
They just wanted our fabulous pink carriage, didn't they?
Maybe they did. Maybe you got too close. Maybe you ran over one of their sacred plants or said something rude to one of their magical snakes. I don't know. It's pretty much anything can set them off. But as long as we keep to our hunting grounds, they keep to theirs, everyone seems to get along just fine.
Yeah.
Well, I believe that we're here for some goods.
Wouldn't know anything about that. Probably best go speak with Eric, the town smith. If anything's coming in or going out, he'll usually be the one in charge of that. He's at the inn. Just you'll find him in there. It's getting on towards happy hour.
Can you point me in the direction of the inn, please?
They kind of turn in
Or
the
really obvious?
saddle and point down what is ostensibly the main road for this town, as there is only one road for this town. The architecture of the buildings is it's odd. It's this sort of very kind of frontier, folksy timber assortment, but it's mixed in with sort of supporting columns of this very expensive looking white marble. Like, it's not been very artistically cut. It is very much sort of like square faced columns. As you look down the road, all the buildings have this sort of same kind of repeating design to it. You've got this sort of like outer marble support columns, and then the interconnecting walls generally tend to be timber or sort of odd kind of bright colours of jungle wood. You can see there is a very large, prominent building about halfway down the main drag, and you can see that there are folks sort of starting to make their way in there now. There's a few smaller buildings you can make out nearby. They tend to be well signposted. There's the sheriff's office and the jail. There's a bank. There's an outfitters and smithy towards the far end of the town, and then there's just an assortment of smaller just houses and dwellings dotted around. One thing that does catch your eye is there are a series of very tall poles next to each of the major buildings, with wires running across, connecting each of them up.
Like what, like telegraph poles sort of thing?
Yeah, they look like telegraph poles.
Interesting. I take it this is unusual. This isn't something that you'd see in any town, particularly at one like this. Or would I know that?
I'll tell you what, make me an Arcana check.
Okay.
See how this goes
That
down.
is a 27.
Beautiful. Perfect. So, as you look around at the telegraph poles, first thing you notice is the patterning of it. Being a wizard, you are familiar for looking for patterns, the almost mathematical fixings behind systems and the arcane. And you can see that whilst they do form a fairly sort of intricate webwork between all of the buildings, they all appear to converge back towards the smithy at the far end of town. There are, from the smiths, there's a much larger pole at the smiths with heavier cables going out to the poles in the street, and then thinner cables running down to each of the buildings. In the case of the tavern, you can see several cables running down to parts of the outside of the building. As far as the sort of formal function of it, every so often you see a sort of like a red spark come out from a bit of it where, you know, sort of a bit of moisture drips off a tree, or a bug gets a little bit too close. You just see a zap come off of that. You reckon it is some sort of system for either communication, possibly power, some way, some sort of redistribution of an arcane power source, something like that. It's the design you're sort of roughly familiar with, but the specific application you would need to speak to someone local to get an idea on that.
Okay.
That's the fact that do I get any sort of weird feeling from it, given that it seems elemental?
I would say a separate Arcana check from yourself, please.
Cool. That is a 7.
You don't get anything specific from the poles and cables, but there is a weird sense of familiarity to there. It's almost like someone is singing a song you remember, and you can just catch like bits of it in the background noise. It's that kind of almost nostalgic sensation.
Mhm. So I'm just vacantly staring at the wires.
Yeah.
Cool.
Mick, you up to anything?
I'm just looking around, wondering. Say, I've never seen arcane-powered gallows brackets before.
Yeah, you are fascinated that they may have found some way to industrialize public execution. That this is a far more efficient system.
Yeah. Just bewildered, like it's a bit weird.
So, at this point, Claude has already started sort of beelining the smash and grab towards the tavern. Possibly because you assume that he's, that in tune with your needs and is like, well, maybe this is where we should go. Possibly because he's like, it's probably the best place to rest the carriage and do some repair work. Possibly because he's run out of drinks. You're not too sure which of the three ways it's going, but whichever application applies, he is now steering you towards the sort of stables area of towards the back of the tavern.
So, I take it we arrive at the. Is it the tavern we're gone to then?
That's where Claude has decided that he's going to park up. As soon as he does, you hear him step down. There's a couple of dull thuds as he sort of pulls the javelins out the side, and you hear them clatter to the ground. And you hear very tuneless whistling, followed by the sounds of Claude's footsteps as he makes his way towards the bar.
I'm going to join Claude at the bar.
Okay.
I am going to mend the carriage from the javelin shots.
Okay.
And then go into the bar.
As you bring your hand up to repair the holes, you can see that the wood has already knitted itself back together. The last javelin that's come out, you can see that the point where the tip had gone in has already started to it closes up as you're looking at it, and then there's a faint shimmer as the paintwork repairs itself over the top.
Oh, that's helpful. And then I will just about face and go to the bar with Mick.
Okay. Mike, what are you up to?
Going to the bar as well, but I don't know what to do when I get there. I'm just gonna walk up and like smile at the bar people.
Absolutely fine. So, you make your way.
Stand there and smile.
That's fine. There is a
One
proper.
warm oil, please.
There is a proper set of like saloon swing doors as you walk your way in. And there is a piano playing itself in the corner. Fairly busy, a lot of people sat at tables just talking amongst themselves. You can see a lot of them are wearing like miner's gear, so heavy overalls. There's there's like safety hats on tables. The umbrella stand by the door is just filled with monogrammed mining picks. Mixture of races that you've seen in Sharn. There's humans, dwarves, gnomes. A couple of the more exotic races. You swear there's probably a hobgoblin in there. Maybe a dragonborn or an Aarakocra. You can't quite tell. And as you walk in, you're sort of aware that there is a faint murmur of "ooh, outsiders." Sort of makes its way through the room. And as you're sort of looking around, just taking in the ambience, you can see from a booth on the far side there is a figure standing up and just waving frantically at you. It's a fairly young human male, short, cropped, blonde hair, clean shaven, just waving and just beckoning you over as much as they can. Claude has already set up at the bar and has somehow managed to down a pint whilst you weren't looking.
I
Excellent.
go over to the guy waving, and I'm just like, "Hi, I'm Mike."
Hi. Are you Mr. Dion's couriers?
Oh, is that us? Is that the fleshy thing we were supposed to do?
Am I actually near him at this point? Because I was just going to the bar initially. How far away is this guy again?
I would assume. I'd say based on your relative intelligence and social skills, you would have weighed up the options of leaving Mike unattended in a busy pub versus getting yourself a
Yeah.
drink, and would have opted to go with Mike first and get a drink afterwards.
Yes. If I noticed him wandering towards someone waving, yeah.
Yeah,
I'll
you've
follow
noticed
him.
that they've wandered over to the booth with the waving human.
Yeah,
Just
okay.
like, yeah, maybe go check this out.
Yes, that would be us.
Oh,
I understand
right,
you have
yeah,
something for
yeah.
us.
Yes,
excellent.
that's us. That's us.
Fantastic. Eric Ironwright, townsmith, and he holds out his hand and sort of waits for a
Pleasure.
handshake.
Oh, I shake his hand.
Fine.
I just stare at it. I just stare at it.
There's a bit of a pause, and they just kind of like close their hand and just go, "Ha, okay. Yes, please. Grab a seat. I'll get us some drinks, and then I'll get you your package, if that's all right."
Sounds good to
Aw.
me.
And I grab a
Excellent.
random stranger's seat. I don't lift it. I don't move it. I just grab it.
Fine. Yeah. So you're just standing.
I'm just
So-
standing there holding someone else's seat while they're sat on it, and I'm not moving it. Not really doing anything with it. I'm just
get mad.
Okay.
holding it.
We'll come back to that in a second. Mick, what are you up to while this is all going down?
Good God.
Doing my usual thing as when I enter a building, checking where all the exits are, and just making sure I can't see anything suspicious around me.
Okay. And let's call this an investigation check, please, just to get a lay of the land.
You know, being an assassin, you generally is one of the
Yeah,
things
yeah.
you tend to do when you walk in places.
Makes sense.
What was that investigation? You say?
Yes, please.
That was crap. That is a 13.
Okay. Doesn't need to be that good because, let's be honest, once you've been in a tavern, you get the vibe. It's like, if you go into a Weatherspoons, you know roughly where all the amenities are. So as you look around, you can see
It's
that
just
there
force
is.
of habit. That's the.
Yeah, so there's the main swing doors you've come in through. There's a door off to the right hand side of the bar, which you assume is either the toilets or fly adjustment booth. There's doors to the left of the bar, back towards what you assume is a kitchen area. Every so often someone comes in and out with either plates for cleaning or food for a table. There is a swept set of stairs going up the left-hand side of the room, covering over some of the booth seats, which is where the others have gone to, and it sort of sweep up to like a mezzanine level, and you can see that there are rooms leading off from that. A couple of tables next to the banister, just for two people. There's a couple of people in sort of hushed conversation on there, just scanning their eyes over the crowd. But yeah, you get a decent idea of how this place is laid out and where where the exits are and how to work the room.
And I'll keep my distance at the moment from those two, but just watch from afar, just keeping an eye out.
Okay. That's fine. As from your position, you see the the human that they were talking to has sort of bustled their way over to the bar and flags down bartender and just sort of points towards the table. He goes, round of drinks for the table in the booth over there, please. It's just put it on the Smith's tab. It's fine. It's fine. Like, oh, entertaining tonight, are we, Eric? It's like, oh, just a business deal. Just a business deal. Just you can just a round of drinks. Oh, have you got anything suitable for Warforged? So, I think we've got like a.
That's me. I'm
I
Warforged.
think we've got a bottle or two of McAdam's old drinking oil. Yes, yeah, perfect. Bring it over. Bring it over. And he returns back to the table and sits down with Mycure and Kallus.
What do you want me to do with this seat? I've grabbed it.
Oh,
Still
sorry.
quite
No,
get it.
no, sorry. I forget sometimes colloquialisms get lost. Please sit down in the booth on one of the seats.
Right, so I can let go of this.
Yes, no. The when were you activated?
Oh,
Relatively recently. You may not have come across it before. The expression "grab a seat" just means sit down at an available place.
right, you fleshies are so strange. And I let go and I sit down.
As you sit down, you hear Wavebreaker wake up in your head and go, "How have you made it this far? This stupid. Can't believe I'm stuck with you for at least
Because I
another
can
4
shoot
months."
fire out of my hands. That is how.
I'm going offline. I need to compile something. The drinks are brought over. Mick, are you joining them? Or are you still lingering at bar?
I'll go over and join, but sit so I can see out of the booth into the area around.
That's fine. So Eric makes his introduction to you as later on. He goes, I've got some drinks for the table. My cure was it? We've got some McAdam's drinking oil, if that's suitable for you.
Let's find out. Ha 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 ha.
Well,
And I take a glug, and then I take another glug.
fine. It's very palatable.
Delightful.
It is.
Keep glugging.
Yeah. Yeah, it's absolutely like as close as you can experience to a delicious beverage.
You feel it lube as it goes down. Pleasant feeling.
So at this point, they reach under the table and they bring up a wooden crate. And as they're doing it, they're kind of quite furtively looking around the room and just checking to make sure no one's noticing. And as they put the crate down on the table and goes, I must admit, I was overjoyed to find someone willing to purchase these from me. And when I reached out, I've got to be honest, the Boromar clan does have a bit of a reputation out here. But when Mr. Dion said that they would be willing to make the purchase, I was more than pleased. Have you ever transported these before? And I lift up the lid of the crate ever so slightly. And inside you can see that there is a bunch of dried leaves and fronds as padding. But there are 6 distinct shapes in the box. Kallus, can you make me a... Actually, no. Mick, you would immediately recognise these as uncut dragon shards. Smaller in size than the one that you put in the side of the ghost ship.
So I was just thinking.
But this is the one that wound up in the side of the ghost ship was in a more finished and polished form. These appear to have literally just been just collected. They're still rough. They're about sort of 4 inches long each, maybe 1.5 to 2 inches wide. They all have the sort of same very rough kind of crystalline cylindrical shape, but they're not finished. In their current state, you know that they are not usable. They are still very powerful, but nowhere near as unstable as when they're finished and primed. They're safe to transport as they are.
Seen one or two before.
Excellent. Well, look, I've got a safe over at the smithy. I just wanted to make sure that you guys were aware of what the cargo was before you undertook it, because I didn't want to, who gives someone dragon shards and then they just transport them somewhere without any knowledge? That could be crazy dangerous.
Yeah, it'd be like if someone had an entire one and just randomly walked around with it for months.
I know, that'd be insane, right?
Yeah.
Well, look, you guys, Mr. Dion has been incredibly generous. He has paid for the cargo, which I say I will secure away in the safe at the smithy. He has paid for rooms here for you, very comfortable beds. He said that he will pay for any of your drinks expenses while you're here. So please drink up. Have yourselves a lovely night. I've got some more work to attend to, but if you pop over and see me in the morning, we can transfer everything over and you can be on your way.
How
Sure,
fast
we
can I
spoke
put
to
these
Dion.
in my
We
chest
usually
cavity?
Whoa. One at a time, guys. One at a time.
You sure you spoke to Dion? Because he usually just gives us crackers. Not gonna lie.
At this point, you see the face kind of drop a little bit. Like, you are with the Boromir clan, right?
Yeah. We are their best men.
If you're really with the Boromir clan, what does Mr. Dion look like?
I don't know. All I remember is perfume. Lots of perfume. It kills my nose every time.
He's got that really voice that makes you think that he thinks that he's better than you.
Okay, but what do they look like?
I got that kind of like a big old mane of hair. Quite tall.
Tall, mane of hair, dismissive attitude. No, we are talking about the same person. We've dealt with them before. That's fine. Yes,
Okay.
absolutely fine. No, Mr. Dion, he seemed very excited to be able to find a buyer for these fine rocks, and they wink at you.
Uh-huh.
Is anybody like paying attention to us at this point in time around the room?
Make me let's call it an insight check.
Oh, a natural 20.
Okay.
Which
You
is
take a little bit of time
24.
to scan around the room. No one appears to be paying any attention to you. They're either too busy talking to other people, getting drinks, having something to eat. They're very much... There's no kind of air of double dealing of this place. It seems like just quite a wholesome community hub for the town.
Okay.
Like I say, from what you've noticed looking in, a lot of the people here appear to be miners, stonemasons that either work or live nearby, and they're just clocking off at the end of the day. They're having some food. They're just chilling out. This is from what the sheriff has said. This is basically happy hour at the tavern.
Okay.
But
Works for me.
no one appears to be paying any mind to you. They're all just happy to be there for their own reasons.
Can I wake up the docent?
Um.
Oh no.
Yeah. How are you doing it?
I'm thinking it. I'm going, oi! Hey! 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 You want to see this?
Make me a persuasion check.
Okay. Ooh, 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 ooh. That is an 18.
You don't hear anything from the docent, but the words "fuck off, I'm sleeping" just appear on your field of vision and goes quiet.
Fair enough.
I'm waiting
Have-
for him to go. Mick's got more dragon shards again. Oh my god!
Okay, if you don't want to have a look at the dragon shards, I guess I'll put them in my chest cavity.
Nothing.
Just
Just
give 'em back to
nothing.
Mick.
The docent. You're vaguely aware that the
Yeah.
docent is like it's still thinking about something. You can feel the sort of the cogs turning, as it were. So it's clearly doing something, but it is also very.
Processing something.
It is also very actively ignoring you.
Understandable. Right, so how fast can I put these in my chest cavity?
I wouldn't recommend it. Smith just piped up.
Yeah,
It's like,
but how fast?
I mean, pretty fast. You.
Oh, you noticed it was open already. Sorry.
Yeah,
Ha.
I mean the shards themselves are relatively inert, but I wouldn't advise it.
You know, quickly.
I can't let you
We're not moving a box around. Come on,
take
in.
them like this. I'll hold on to them for safekeeping. I've got a safe. It is perfectly secure. I'm the only one that knows the combination. I'm the only one that has the key.
You're just teasing my holes now, and I sadly clasp up my chest cavity again.
Look, I'm going to make a move with these now,
Indeed.
whilst everyone's busy having the drinks, having the tea. I'll see you in the morning. And they kind of take the crate and just edge their way out the booth and start to make their way out. So, with that, you have basically free refills and your choice of table food.
What food is there?
There's like so Eric has clearly sort of thought for every eventuality here. There is a pitcher of what smells like very expensive wine. A couple of flagons of ale. There is at least 2 more bottles of McAdam's drinking oil. And a pitcher of water is brought over, just in case. The bar food is sort of relatively simple fare, so it's there's various sort of like fruits, salad kind of things going on from the sort of local foraging. There's a couple of meat options on the menu. It's things like sort of roasted pig and snake. There's a couple of like lizard kebab things going on.
I tried some snake.
Yeah, that's fine. Did you want anything to drink, by the way?
Just some of the water, I think. I'm
Absolutely.
still feeling uneasy around this.
That's fine. Yeah. Again, you get absolutely no bad vibes from this place, and the wine does smell like super posh. Like, it's not so top shelf that you wouldn't expect to find it here, but if they've got it here, it's been like either special ordered or it's something that the innkeeper was holding on the back shelves.
Then I will have some wine.
It is delicious.
Nice.
The wine is delicious. Mick?
I'll go with the fancy wine.
Yeah. It is.
Oh.
It is
I wonder
far
why there's no
fancier
fish.
than anything you've had.
I wonder where the fish is. Like, where's the fish? Settle for lizard meat needs a minute.
Yeah, that's fine. The sort of wait staff inform you that they don't really get a lot in way of fishing. Like the town of Whitecliff is relatively close to a river, but the fishing isn't great there, and it's too far away from the coast to really reliably bring in fresh fish. So a lot of the meat offerings are, like I say, it's birds, lizards, the odd sort of like pig or boar going on, snakes and such. It's all very nice. Like it's cooked, not just palatable but tasty as well. Like they've been doing frontier living right.
Yep, I'll stick with my fancy wine, eat some lizard meat, just hoping that it's the one that I shot earlier.
That's fine. Micure, after failed attempts to convince the docent to pay attention, anything else from yourself?
Plugging the current bottle of oil, and then I go and find somewhere quiet to power down. Like, I have no interest in food or what it is, and I've had enough fleshy interactions for one day, I think.
That's fine. The wait staff do bring over keys for adjacent rooms. You basically got rooms 2, 3, and 4 on the top floor there. If you want somewhere to retire to. At various points through the evening, you each go and check out the rooms and come back and go, oh, that's nice. Yeah, decent soft beds. They've got a little wash basin on there. Mike, you're very impressed with the wardrobe, like how neat it is. Like there's no clothes in there at all. It is perfectly clean.
Oh, the shelves, they're so level.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking, Dion really must want these because, he's actually paid for us to stay places and gave us good food.
Oh, yeah. Dion, like, it's not that they've gone above and beyond, but they've just, like, forked out for the best that they could get for the money. And it shows. No.
Yeah.
So as the evening draws on, you drink, you eat, you make merry with the locals. All of you turn in for the evening, go to your rooms, and you all get a lovely, peaceful night's sleep. Knowing that you're going to turn in, what do you do about Nacho before you go to bed?
I recast it for another 24 hours.
Okay. Nacho is basically set themselves up as a sentry on top of the carriage.
Yep.
So they've now become part of the Smash and Grab's defense system. So you all turn in for the night. All of you get the benefits of a long rest, as you are well fed and well taken care of.
Excellent.
And you wake following morning, ready to greet the new day. So you stand. You immediately become aware that the nicely floorboarded room that you're in has a decidedly more dirt-like feel to it. Also, none of you remember paying to be chained to a wall or to have your rooms transferred to what looks like a really, really rough prison cell.
Excellent.
Oh, good.
And that's where we're going to take a break.
Lovely.
So, we'll be back in about 10 minutes' time to resolve this.
I'm going to die.
You're not going to die. Maybe you die. Maybe die a little bit. Anyway, back in 10.
I grab a drink.
we're back. So, you've all woken up, manacled in a dirt-floored prison. There are floor-to-ceiling bars on the far side. This is very simple looking. The walls appear to have just been carved directly out of the surrounding rock. And as you're sort of waking up and gathering your thoughts, you see two very large, very muscular lizard folk approaching the doors, both of them carrying large spears. And they open the door, and a smaller lizardman comes in. Slightly paler green than the ones that you've seen before. The ones standing guard on the door have got this very sort of quite dark green scale going on their skin. The smaller one appears to be wearing like almost like a black leather kind of like waistcoat, and have what looks like it may have once been a snake that's then been worked into like a kind of rudimentary tie going on. And they've got a pair of glasses just perched over their snout, with these kind of red tinted lenses on there. And as they approach you, you can hear they're talking at you. Do any of you speak Draconic?
That is a negative on my part.
Nope. Wish I could comprehend languages about now.
As they're talking at you, you can see they're sort of, in one hand they've got like a stack of parchments, and in their other hand they're sort of fishing around in one of the pockets on the little waistcoat, and they bring out these like sort of bracelets made of just look like simple beads. And as they walk to each of you, they just place the bracelets around your wrists. So you get one on each of you. Each of you get one bracelet on your left wrist, and you feel it sort of just tighten to hold in place.
That means we get to go on all of the rides now.
And then they place a bracelet on themselves, and all of a sudden the sort of like sort of hissing and clicking noises that they are making start to fall away, and you pick up sort of halfway through the sentence. Just say, "So I will be handling your defence during the trial, so if you have any questions, please direct them to me."
I'm sorry, what?
Well, your trial will be starting shortly. My name is Ertos. I am your defender, and I will be representing you during the trial. Did you have any questions?
This is a trial.
Where am I?
Well, you stole dragon shards. That's why you're here.
Don't believe that that's the case.
Check my chest cavity and find it bare.
Well, we obviously searched you when you were brought in, and we found no evidence of the dragon shards on your persons. So you must have clearly hidden them somewhere. But we will be holding a trial, as is the new tradition for our people. We're trying to be a progressive society, and I will be representing you as your defendant. I'm sorry, you seem a tad confused.
Yes, when did javelins become civilized?
Javelins have always been a weapon used by our scouting parties. They're perfectly functional. They're perfectly suitable ranged weapon for any civilization.
Now, what makes you think we have these exactly?
Well, the prosecutor has leveled the charges, says that you stole the dragon shards, and that's how it works.
And what evidence is this based on?
The fact that the dragon shards are missing, and the prosecution have said you stole them.
How did we get here is my question.
You were brought in by one of our scout parties.
Do we remember anything?
Make me a history check.
That's a natural one.
You have no recollection of how you wound up here.
Excellent.
I imagine it had something to do with the wine.
Yes,
Or the smith.
he says completely unknowingly.
Well, anyway, on your feet, we will be presenting you before Queen Mick very shortly. Follow me, please.
Do we have any of our possessions?
You check your pockets and find them bare.
Okay. Mike. Actually, how close is this guy to us? This lizard folk?
Probably about 5 or 6 feet away.
Okay.
The cell that you're in is not terribly large. It's large enough to hold the three of you, and not much else.
I will try and sort of whisper to Mike. Sort of just say, we might need you to get us out of this. Because I'm acutely aware of his magic is available and mine is not. Apart from some bits.
Okay. I'd say that the guards have no real interest in what you're saying, and your defender is more concerned about getting you to the trial.
Excellent. That is all I'm going to do, because there is sod all else I can do without my spellbook.
They've stepped out of the cell and they're just sort of flicking through their notes. At this stage, the guards are both sort of looking at you intently.
I try to wave at them before I forget that I'm actually chained.
The guard kind of looks at you and stamps the spear on the floor, and you hear this click as the chains disconnect from the wall, and the links binding your arms sort of almost like melt together, like sort of T1000 themselves into a much shorter set of manacles just binding your hands.
Rude.
You are still bound at the hands, but you are free to move.
Oh, so I give them a little wave.
One of them just kind of snarls and sort of gestures with the spear down the hallway.
Is this just Mike that's been unchained?
All of you.
Okay. Then I'm going to go over to Mike. And do you have anything to get us out of here?
Get out how? Like in how many pieces?
Teleport us, blow the door off. I don't really care. I don't really think this trial's going to go so well for us, since they've carted us in here with no evidence that we know of. And, well, they threw spears at us before. I don't fancy our chances.
They did do that. Leave it with me. I'll cook something up. Yeah, I'll cook something up real nice.
Okay.
Yeah, real nice.
I just stare at him.
Whilst you're talking, one of the guards has walked into the cell and is starting to sort of gently prod you with a spear to get you to hurry up.
As in to go follow.
Yes, yes. The cell door's open. One of them's walked in. They're just kind of like trying to shepherd you out into the hallway now.
Okay.
So,
If you got anything that you can do, now's the time to do it.
Okay.
I whisper through gritted teeth.
So you can hear this ringing noise start generating. And it's quiet at first because I don't have my hands to like really kind of shape the flow of it, but I start bringing up this ringing noise and it starts getting louder and louder within the room. And it starts building up and building up. It's a really high pitch and it's becoming more and more noticeable.
make me a Constitution saving throw, please.
Oh no.
Fuck nuggets.
It's gonna go swimmingly.
That is a 17.
That's good, it's good.
Okay. As you start to cast the spell, you just hear the guard that's come in to give you the hurry up just hisses at you, "No magic," and prods you with the spear. There is you feel this like bolt of electrical energy jump into you, and you take 2 points of lightning damage, and the spell fails.
Oh. Does it fizzle before I actually cast it?
It would be before you cast, yes.
Thank you. That's a bloody relief.
The guard just kind of looks at you, the rest of you, and just says, "Move."
Okay, I reluctantly go.
Yeah, I follow.
It's not really much we can do. I want to see what they say in this trial.
So as you are led down the hallway, you can see that there is a large, again, a much larger set of iron bars at the far end of the hallway. And as you are led there by the guards with your defender in front, they get to the bars and they place their hand on a stone panel. The side and the bars start to raise up. And you are brought into a large open amphitheatre. There are rows and rows of seats rising up away from this sort of oval-shaped arena. And they are filled with lizard folk of various shapes and sizes, ages, all of them with similar sort of shades of green on their scale. And at the far end, there is a sort of almost like royal box kind of arrangements with a large throne set into it that is currently empty. And just in front of it, there are two basically podiums set up. The one to the left is currently empty. The one to the right has a very bulky lizardman there. They've got an enormous greatsword strapped across their back. Their scales are this sort of darker green, but the higher points are tinged with purple. You can't really tell whether it's like sort of war paint or whether it's naturally occurring, and they are just covered in scars. They've got a big one down one of their eye, which is just sort of milked out. And they just look at you and sneer, and turn back towards the royal box. And as you are led forward towards the podium, Ertos, your defender, steps up, and there is a huge cheer goes up from the crowd as a ostensibly female lizard folk, paler green scales, steps out to this rapturous applause. They've got this very ornate, kind of organic shaped crown going on. It's almost like sort of interwoven vines leading up towards an open circle. And they raise their hand and call for quiet. And they look down to you and say, "I, Queen Mick, stand in judgment of Leader Vargak's accusations. The outsiders have stolen from us dragon shards." There's a chorus of boos and cheers from the crowd. And she points to the larger, purple-tinted lizard folk. Says, "Vargak, please present your evidence." Vargak steps forward and says, "Honourable Queen, these outsiders stole with knowledge and intent to take from us our precious dragon shards. My scouts found them in the human settlement, drunk, debauched, merrily boasting of their theft." Sort of nods, turns to Ertos and says, "Ertos, as defender for the accused, have they accepted their guilt?" And Ertos steps forward and says, "My lady, we will intend to prove to the accused that they are in fact guilty of this crime."
That's not how this works.
You can see Ertos kind of cringe at you saying something. Queen Mick looks down and says, "Are your clients prepared?" Ertos says, a moment, Your Majesty, please." And turns back to you and goes, "What are you doing? This is my first case."
You're
Right.
doing just swell. Edit.
You're doing bad.
How am I doing badly? The whole purpose of my job here is to prove to you that you are guilty.
No.
Vergak has made an accusation. He is accusing you of theft. My job as your defender, your representative, is to prove to you why you are guilty of it, so that you accept your punishment.
And the punishment would be?
Well, death.
Yeah, I thought so. So, what is your purpose in this? Because really, whether we accept this or not is irrelevant.
My purpose is to prove to you why you are guilty, so that you accept your fate willingly. If we were to force you...
How does that defend us?
If we were to forcibly kill you, that would be terribly uncivilized.
I would argue that whichever way this goes,
Kind of like javelins.
It's very simple. All you
Sorry,
need to do is...
Queenie, I can't get drunk. So, that one there, That one. Yeah,
Might be
he's
doing-
lying.
Might be doing a naughty fib.
Mike, you feel a sudden thud on the back of your head as one of the guards has stepped forward and just butted you with the rear end of their spear. You take 5 points of bludgeoning damage.
I turn round, and there's like a little faint crackling of lightning in my eyes, and I say, "Don't do that again."
At this point, Ertos is just like, a misunderstanding, please. Please don't aggravate them. And at this point, you can see that they've got like a little, like say on their podium, they've started to sort of arrange their notes. He goes, now, would you please just read the list of crimes and just accept that you are guilty of them? And he hands you a piece of paper. On it takes you a moment for your eyes to kind of focus, and you realise that the bracelets are kind of working some magic to translate what's written down. And on the paper it says, plead for investigation.
Do I trust this individual?
Make an insight check.
That is 15.
As you look into Ertos's eyes, he's sort of looking down over. He's looking over his spectacles at you, and you can see that there is almost like a pleading earnestness to the way they're looking at you.
Okay. Since I can't see any other way out of this, I will just sort of look up at the lady whose name I've forgotten. I apologise.
Queen Myrick.
Queen Myrick. I wish to plead for investigation.
Oh, yes, that would be great. An investigation, that would be great.
There is a palpable murmur runs through the crowd, and the Queen once again raises her hand and calls for silence. You plead for investigation? Ertos,
Correct.
as our most knowledgeable legal representative, is this within their rights? And Ertos immediately jumps forward, bubbling with energy. Yes, Your Majesty, it is perfectly acceptable for the accused to plead for investigation so that they may take time and measures to understand their guilt themselves before coming to final trial and judgment. I will be willing to accompany them as their investigative agent. Very well. How long do the tenants allow for this? 1 day, my queen. Very well. Ertos, you and your defendants have 1 day to investigate these claims, come to terms with their guilt, before returning here for judgment. Your Majesty is both noble and wise. You are dismissed. Varga lets out an audible growl of frustration and stomps off out of the arena. And you're led back towards the cell entrance by the two guards. As soon as you're through and the gate comes down, the guards remain inside the arena. And Ertos looks at you hurriedly and goes, okay, we don't have much time. I believe that Vargak stole the dragon shards and attempted to frame you.
They're fairly likely.
Now,
And
Vargak is our chief military strategist. He is leader of our armies, and he has long desired to take control of our people. He is ambitious and violent, but he is not as well versed in our legal tenets as I am. Now, by invoking the right of investigation, I have bought us a day to find proof, not that you are innocent, but that Vargak is guilty of lying. We cannot prove that you did not take the dragon shards. That is out of the question. What we can prove is that Vargak stole the dragon shards. Then he will be forced to defend himself.
And how do you suggest we do this?
Vargak's troops have been very secretive. They have suddenly become far more guarded, far more less talkative. Normally they're far more sociable with the other members of our civilization, but recently they've become very introverted and cut off. I think they may be planning something, some sort of military coup or some sort of rise up against the royalty. I believe they may have sold the dragon shards in exchange for weapons or some sort of advantage that would allow them to do so. If we can find proof of that, then we can prove that Vargak is attempting to assassinate our beloved queen. That he stole the dragon shards.
One question then.
Yes,
Why would
certainly.
he even bother to involve us? Why not just sell the dragon shards, overthrow the royalty, and be done with it?
We maintain a very tenuous accord with the soft skins. If you'll forgive the parlance, but they do not have tough scales. They do not have sharp fangs. Their weapons are their only way of surviving in this place. Clearly they have some advantageous design to them, or some sort of magics that would allow their weapons to grant them the ability to survive in our world. If we were to combine our troops with their weaponry, they would be unstoppable, and Vargak would be able to take control of the Queen either through direct force or by throwing blame at the Softskins for interfering beyond the agreement, and use it to seize military power in a time of war. Please understand, the only reason that I've pushed so hard to have you tried through an ancient and archaic legal practice is to buy myself the time to prove that Vargak intends to murder our beloved queen. He intends to take control of the realm for himself and bring untold chaos and war to ourselves. Your people will most likely be wiped out, but ours will be forever led on a war fueled by deceit.
For our belongings.
Oh, this way. Follow me. And he takes you to there's a stone chest just outside the cell that you were in, containing all of your belongings. Please,
Okay.
understand, I am putting my life on the line with this gambit. These devices, he starts pointing to the bracelets, they allow us to communicate, but they also they bind us to one another. As I am your defender, if I am killed, so will you.
Right.
Oh, great.
This is part of the right of investigation. You have the right to investigate your case, and I, as your defender, accept responsibility should anything come to you. Similarly, we can't simply allow people to go, oh, I'll go investigate my own crimes, and then murder their defender and run off scot-free. We can't allow that.
We can, however, kill the one that is trying to take over. Can we not?
Vargak is a formidable opponent, and if you were to challenge him and try to kill him, it would undermine the entire process. He would have his war. His second in command would take charge. Cannot move against Vargak directly. The only way we can stop him is through trial.
Very well. Lead on.
Excellent, excellent. Vargak will undoubtedly take some time to consider his options. He's tactically brilliant, but he is not a smart individual. He is not as cunning as I am, or as well versed in our law. So he will undoubtedly seek out some counsel of his own. We have a brief window whereby we can investigate his personal quarters. Quickly, follow me. And Ertos starts making his way out of the amphitheatre and through various tunnels. You find yourself in the middle of what is essentially a large temple city. Surrounding the entire area is very dense, thick jungle. All of the buildings have this sort of like Mesoamerican style architecture. There's all very sort of shallow angle stepped kind of ziggurats and very sort of low buildings made primarily from stone. Ertos the way you've come out is a somewhat concealed entrance to the main arena. One of the things that you would know from these kind of sort of martial contests is that generally they don't want the populace seeing sort of prisoners being led in and out. It just upsets them. So you're in a sort of relatively covered position next to a very grand staircase. There's plenty of sort of bits and pieces for you to make your way through stealthily. Can I have each of you make a stealth check, please?
How am I so stealthy for a robot?
No idea.
17 for me.
Bad stats.
4.
And Firkin?
Who? Sorry?
Firkin? God damn it. Names are wrong. Mick!
Damn it, Badger.
God, I felt like I was in a different universe all of a sudden.
Ah!
23.
Excellent. So, between you managed to sneak around, get through to Vargak's quarters. Inside, you find there is a very much a large table with a map on it and various little clay statues showing sort of troop positions, supply lines, that sort of thing. There are various sort of scrolls stacked up around the room, a small stool next to a hearth that's currently unlit. The entire place is fairly well lit. There's quite large open Windows is probably the best way to describe it. There's no glass in them; they're just big open spaces on the wall. You can see that there are sort of like wooden shutters that swing out to the wall outside. Ertos says, "Okay, I'll stay outside and keep a lookout. See if you can find anything that would implicate Vargak in the theft of the dragon shards. If I spot any trouble, I'll knock 3 times on the door."
Right. Okay.
With that, he steps outside, closes the door behind them. Okay, so you have the rooms yourselves. What would you like to do?
Start
Okay.
searching.
I
So, yeah,
start
take
hunting
them
for
around.
clues. Let's split up, gang.
Okay, so areas to search. You've got a wall of various scrolls and sheets of parchment down either side. So there's a large map table in the centre, and there's an unlit hearth in there. What do each of you want to do, or do as a group? Give yourselves a couple of minutes just to talk it out and see what you want to do.
I think I'll check the unlit hearth.
Okay.
Is
Oh.
it dark in here?
It is light. I'd say position of the sun. You'd reckon it's probably sort of late morning.
So belting.
Okay.
I'm not really good with say the papery side. I'll see if there's any way on the map that could be done.
Okay, no worries. So, if we start with Mycure and the hearth, if you can just go ahead and make me an investigation check, please.
Lovely, will do. That is a 19.
19, excellent. So, sifting through, you find a lot of ash, a few kind of unburnt logs in there. And towards the back, you find a scrap of paper that is of significantly better quality than everything you've seen in the office so far.
Delightful. I'm going to try and read it.
Okay.
If there's anything on there, of course.
It is quite badly burnt. You can see a few words on there. You can make out the words asleep, unarmed, drugged, and the final sentence is still intact. It says, "Weapons ready in 3 days," and it's signed EI. What strikes you about all of this is that you are aware that none of the sort of post-processing is going on. This is all written in common.
Eric. Name, I've forgotten the surname of.
Kallus, you taking the documents?
If I see him doing this, yes.
Cool. Okay, so investigation check from yourself, please.
That is a 16.
Okay. So going through, a lot of these are sort of field reports. You start to piece together the way that they're arranged is sort of by location and troop deployments on there. A lot of it is sort of day-to-day guff, movement on hunting grounds, notes on other clans that might be interfering on their land. A few notes about the what are referred to as soft skin settlements. Occasionally, where the word soft skin is written, again, you're doing that kind of. It's giving you a little bit of a headache to read because you can feel that the bracelet is doing a lot of the translation work for you as you read it. So sometimes there's a word that doesn't quite make sense straight away, and it takes you. You can feel the bracelet working to try and find like the closest equivalent that you would understand for what is meant by that. One of the documents indicates that a large vein of dragon shards has been discovered close to a soft skin settlement by the White Cliffs. There is another document as well that appears to show plans for some sort of royal event coming up in the next few days, some sort of celebration.
Celebration. I take it we don't know anything of that.
Again, the bracelet's doing its best, but there's no sort of equivalent word or expression that makes sense for it to translate to. Best you can tell, it's some sort of religious or celebratory event involving the royal lineage.
Okay.
Mick,
Yes.
can I get an investigation check from you as well, please, for the map?
15.
Fantastic. So you can see these little clay figures arranged around. Just on a whim, you start swapping a couple of them around just to mess with them. And as you're doing that, I'm sort of feeling pretty proud of yourself for potentially causing some headaches later down the line. You notice a mark on the map. It's clearly an annotation, but it's been basically, whereas the other markers on the map are either a physical object that can be moved around, or they have used a different colour of ink to distinguish it from a map feature. You can see that this mark has been done in the same ink colour as the rest of the map to almost disguise it amongst everything else. And you can see that it is a what looks to be the same layout for the settlement as you remember the way that Whitecliff was arranged. And you can see that all of the buildings are denoted with just a sort of empty square. There is one building at the far end of the street that you can see has been coloured in, so it is a solid black square rather than just an empty black square. Thinking back to it, you recognise that that is the Smith's building.
I'm going to stab that guy.
Go in the queue.
Also, chat thinks it's old MacDonald that's done it.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, the old janitor. Yes.
Old MacDonald. With
Old
his
man
multi-phone
workers.
I would have got away with it too if it wasn't for you pesky criminals.
Ah, the guy running the haunted theme park in the jungle was behind it all along. So, you have your information. What would you like to do with it?
And unfortunately, I can't exactly take a map to the courtroom or arena room.
Nonsense.
Is it? Because you said it's like a 3D model map, didn't you?
So the map itself is like a stretched animal hide across the table.
Right.
There are various like little clay
Ticked.
and stone figures on the map that you've dicked with just to mess with whoever has to use it afterwards. But the marking of Whitecliff is it appears to be in this sort of black ink that matches the features of the map where they've marked up sort of rivers, forest,
Yeah.
mountain elevations, that sort of thing.
What I'm saying is we can't take this to the trial, but I'm guessing we could.
So you know that so Ertos has told you that the only way there would be no way to clear your name, but if you were to bring an accusation against Vargak, that would be a more severe crime that would eclipse your own.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is, we don't. Could we not take this map as proof that it wasn't us that planned it, it was him? But then again, if we had it, then they'd blame us. So I don't get what the fuck I'm meant to do.
You can certainly take the map if you want.
Yeah, but that's
Take
not going to
that.
help us, is it?
Why don't we take it all?
Yeah. Make everything we can.
Take everything we can.
Okay, we take everything we can and set the room on fire.
Okay.
Kind of agree with that, but it won't help us. In case there's something in here else.
I mean, if you can set the room on fire if you want to.
Tempt me with like that.
No.
Can we lure him in?
I'm going to stab a blacksmith and set him on fire, though.
Oh yeah. Let's have
Okay.
it.
So, if you're done with your investigation of the room, you hear 3 knocks on the door, and Ertos pokes their head in and says, "I hope you have everything you need. We need to leave now."
We sneak out.
Ertos leads you a minute or so away from the building and finds a sort of concealed area behind another couple of these sort of pyramid-like structures. Just make sure there's no one approaching or watching. Just the glasses, and they're like, "Okay, what did you find?"
Yes. I just hand them all the documents.
Takes a moment to go over and goes, "Yes. Exactly as I thought. This bit at the bottom, EI, what does it mean?"
It's old McDonald. There was a blacksmith with the same initials in their town.
Do you believe that they would confess?
Probably not.
Possibly if I stabbed them.
If there were enough javelins, maybe.
I like his style. Mick.
The rights of investigation do allow us to bring them in.
To allow
I'd
us to
bring them
break the
in.
legs.
It can be
Do
done,
they
but
have to be?
I fear that if I'm seen by any other softskins, they will kill me and for you. I can
Are
show
you
you
trying
the,
to say
I can
that-
show you the way back to the settlement if you're willing to apprehend this EI, bring them before
Yes.
trial.
Is it a requirement that they are intact?
it would be difficult for me to make the accusation if they were dead.
Oh, I'm not suggesting they would be killed. Merely maimed, perhaps. And I glance over at Mick and his daggers.
I mean, if they can still talk, they can still confess.
Works for me.
Yup.
Yep, let's go.
Excellent.
Lead on.
Excellent. Should have just enough time to make it there and back, possibly within the next 20 minutes. Can I get each of you to make a survival check, please?
Oh my god.
Roll for Ertos.
Oh,
He is
15. That's
excellent.
not bad.
Oh, 22.
Tidy.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Great.
22.
9.
Oh, I do actually have a small knife that I can stab him with.
I have a small knife. I have a load of spells, but I also have a small knife.
Yeah, but I don't have anything that's like torture spells.
It's fine.
Or
If he
do
can't
I?
run away,
Yeah.
then
What
he has
spells
to
do
come
I
with
have
us.
in my book?
It's fine. Okay.
Animate
so,
dead. Oh. This
So-
is happening if he gets executed.
You make your way back to Whitecliff in a remarkably brisk pace. It's actually a lot closer than you realised. It almost seems like the lizard folk have arranged the jungle to almost mask their entire civilization. It takes you, say, maybe 3 hours to get there. As you arrive, it's sort of early afternoon, and you can see that the town is fairly quiet. You assume, based on the attire of everyone that you saw in the tavern the previous night, that they are away working, as you've seen no kind of active mines in or around the town. But there is smoke rising from various chimneys, from the tavern, and from the smithy. There appears to be the occasional brighter red spark going from the power lines leading off the top of the building. Ertos turns to you and says, I will remain concealed here. As I say, I fear that if the softskins were to see me, they would put me to the blade, and work so well for my case or for you either. I will remain here. And it sort of just backs up against the tree, and you can see his scales just kind of shimmer to colour match.
The useful trick. Alright, let's go. I have an idea. And I cast invisibility on Mick. You go in, make sure he doesn't escape, and we will apprehend him.
Okay. Does Mick need to do anything with regards to invisibility, or?
No, he's
just-
just invisible for an hour, for as long as I concentrate on it.
Okay.
So I'll drop it as soon as I think we've cornered him.
Okay. Absolutely fine. So yeah, Mick, you are now invisible.
Oh, excellent. So
Go shank him.
there's a smith in the tavern, is it? Yours in this smith shop? I forgot what you said.
So you don't know where they are at the moment, but you can see
Alright.
that the smithy is active.
Okay. So I'm gonna head towards the smithy then.
Absolutely fine. You
the other two know
basically
what to ask
have you
Shall we?
basically have perfect stealth
Yep.
on this until you attack or cast a spell.
Alright. I'll let the other two know that's where I'm going.
I'm
Okay.
gonna try. I whisper to Kallus, is like, let me hit him with a bit of ice, so he doesn't move so much.
I like it. Let's
Okay,
do that.
so like, I
Kallus,
stick a.
sorry,
Go on.
before you go any further, Kallus and Michael, whereabouts are you guys at the moment?
We're hiding in the bushes just outside the smithy.
It's fine.
I'd imagine.
Yeah, somewhere we can hide, but like the closest we can get to it, where we can hide.
Absolutely fine. The smithy is close enough to the tree line that you could basically approach the back of it completely in cover. So yeah,
Excellent.
you would be approaching basically through the back door.
So can I
Giggly.
see the person we're trying to reprehend from here?
No, you cannot.
Fudge.
Can I send my owl to sit in a window or a roof or something? I don't. Yeah, anything like that.
Yes, yeah, you can use your familiar as a drone. Bear in mind that if you do use it drone style, that will be another concentration. You would have to drop
That counts as
invisibility on Mick,
okay.
just so
I
you are
did
aware
not know.
before you do anything.
Fair enough. Then I will not do that.
Because Kallus as a wizard would be smart enough to know that instinctively.
Indeed, yes.
I'm going to cause a distraction with Mage Hand. I'm going to open the back door.
Okay.
Heh.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
yeah, I just reach out and I quickly pull the handle and tug on the door to make it open as we're hiding in the rushes nearby.
Absolutely fine. You can see that as you open the door, you can see right into the smithy. It's a very open space inside, and you can see directly through. There is a large forge in the centre of the room, and you can see Eric working away there. Obviously, Eric, you recognise the sort of the hair and general stature.
Okay. I stick a single finger out of the brushes. So you hear a little rustle, and my index finger just starts poking out the other side of the brush as I aim very carefully towards Eric. I'm waiting.
I just sort of stop him until we can figure out where Mick is. Because obviously we can't see him either.
I was gonna say, if I make my way into the forge, can I see anything else they can't?
So Mick, you have, like I say, you've got perfect stealth because you're invisible. You can basically stroll round to the front door, which is like a big barn door. It's just open.
Yeah, I'm
To the
just gonna ask,
streets.
is there anything I can see in there that they can't see that might cause problems?
Investigation check, please. You've
Is
got
there
the
any other workers, that
you've
sort
got
of
the
thing?
time.
So
There's definitely no other people in there.
21.
21. Okay. So, quick tactical breakdown. You've got the forge. There is some sort of mechanical assembly off to your left. It would be Kallus and Mike's right because they're on the other side of the building. Which appears to run up through the ceiling and, from your estimation, goes through to the telegraph pole. And there is, in the centre of it, a hoofing great dragon shard that appears to just be pulsing energy out to the rest of the town. There is a safe just to the side of it. There is Eric working at the forge. The only issue you could potentially see is that the front door of the forge, which is this like large barn door, is completely open to the street in front of it.
Right.
There's a few people milling around, just going back and forth, but it is relatively quiet.
We can't see any of this, can we?
You guys can see, like I say, Eric and the forge through the back door, and you can see out to the street on the other side.
I'm just going to sort of say to Mike, we wait for some kind of signal from Mick. And if not, we'll just blast him.
So from where Eric is,
Mhm.
can he see where the safe is?
Yes, yeah. The smithy itself is just fairly open. There's like materials and tool storage, but it's all sort of quite pushed back onto the walls. There's quite a decent amount of free space in the centre around the forge.
So by the back door, though, where those guys can see through, is that a bit obscured from the street near the edge of that back door?
There's a few sort of storage crates to either side, but there's more or less a straight shot from the back door through the forge out to the front door.
So these, I take it the front door's like two just great big like barn doors that do they
It's
swing or
it's just
roll or shut?
one enormous barn door swings
Does it
open.
swing or does it roll
Swings.
like on rollers?
Yeah, it's just big. It's a big door. It's essentially just like the front face of the building just swings open.
Fuck him up.
Yeah. I was thinking, can I try and push the door,
Assassination.
but like so it looks like maybe the latch has come loose and the wind's blown it, and then walk inside before he obviously sees me. Well, he won't see me, but comes over to the door is what I'm thinking.
Absolutely, yes. Yeah. So you can see that the hinges have been arranged for the door to swing shut, basically under its own weight. And there is like a lever catch set into, there's like a steel lever catch set into the floor. It would be easy enough for you to just kick that and let the door swing closed by itself.
Nice.
So
Okay.
yeah, I was gonna say, can I go over to that, like kick it, but make it look like it's a way that it's just happened, not that.
Yeah, absolutely fine.
And he feels a blade between his shoulders.
So you kick the catch and you see the door starting to swing closed, and as it does, you manage to duck inside. It's not until the door is about sort of 3/4 closed and the shadow gets kind of cast across Eric's face that he looks up from what he's working on and just goes, fucking kids again. And sort of, as best he can, takes out what he's working on in the fire and just sets it down and walks over and starts to make towards the door.
As he goes for the door, I'm going to attack him from behind.
Okay.
Assassination rogue.
Incapacitate him. I don't want to kill him. I want to incapacitate.
You're looking to non-lethally attack this guy.
Incapacitation
Yes.
rogue.
I don't know. You know,
Sap.
take out his Achilles heels or something. You know.
Absolutely fine.
Oh man.
Oof. Roll to hit with advantage, you sadistic MF.
Oh.
Well, that's.
That always makes me queasy, that shit. I really hope this works, because I hate him.
That's 24.
I mean, that hits.
Yeah.
Roll for damage.
Is this where you get an insta crit for
Yes,
assassin? Yeah.
So, because it's got advantage. So, technically, do you want me to roll with all the crit damage and everything, Tom, or do you want me to just roll damage because I don't really want to kill him?
So the assassination bonuses, you can opt not to use them.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't really want to kill him.
You can like.
I do want to injure him, but I don't want to kill him.
Yeah, you can certainly like meter your strike. You know what you're trying to achieve here, so you can kind of pull your punch a little bit to reduce.
So
the
I
amount
won't
of damage.
use the sneak damage. I'll just use the crit damage. Let's do it that way.
Okay.
So that's 11 damage on the first dagger.
Okay. They
Get fucked.
fall to the ground.
Cool. As they fall to the ground, I release Ray of Frost.
Okay.
Oh god. It's the dead ice cube on the floor.
Just shoot him while he's
he
down.
He can't run anymore. Let's put it that way. If I was just taking out his Achilles heel.
He ain't
Okay.
gonna be going anywhere.
Ray of Frost. Is that just range spell?
Yeah, it's a range spell. 22 to hit.
Definitely hits. Roll some damage.
Okay, cool. I dealt 3 damage. Yes.
Okay, so that's 14 damage in total.
Oh, he did.
He's not dead.
Okay.
Is he? He's not dead. If anything, I stopped the bleeding with my freezing.
Yeah, I'll take that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm going to level with you. Otherwise, you have done enough damage to kill him twice.
Nice.
Oh,
That's including his own health and then back out the other side of 0.
Yeah, but we
Hilarious.
weren't intending to kill him,
No.
so we would restrain ourselves.
The intention was certainly there. Okay,
My intention
Yeah,
was
I
literally just to cut his Achilles heel so he can't run away anymore. Because his
and
legs
That's
I
fine.
wanted to
he
stop
won't.
him moving, but I'll be damned if I wasn't going to have my finger sticking out for a time for no reason.
Absolutely
You
fine.
did.
So he is
Pew,
now
pew.
incapacitated, unconscious,
Yeah.
and is basically just about clinging to life on there as you've
Yes.
frozen him to the spot.
So, should we try and stabilize him to transport him?
Yeah. I'll ritual cast the cart thingy, Tensor's floating disc,
Yep,
to carry him.
absolutely fine. Mick, you think fast and just grab the piece that he was working on at the forge and just use it to cauterize his wounds.
I mean, he won't be able to walk
Oh.
again, but you know.
Oh yeah, no, he's not getting back up. So you levitate disc the unconscious body of Eric out through the back door. You have not raised the alarm in the town. And you make your way back to the tree line where you find your defender. Just you reckon like it's a good job you knew where they were waiting, because otherwise you would never have spotted the bit of the tree that's wearing a pair of red glasses. So Aetos sort of deblends from the tree and goes, "Ah, this is EI."
Mm-hmm.
And
Yes.
What's left of it?
He's alive.
excellent. Well
He's
then,
alive,
Now.
that's what matters.
we should quickly montage our way back to the trial.
Yes. Let's.
Montage.
Let's travel by montage. Muppet style.
You travel by montage back to the trial. There is some hilarious hijinks where someone goes to move a vine out the way and it's a snake.
We all have a good
Someone
laugh.
treads in something they weren't supposed to. All of you balk a little bit when you just see Aetos have a snack by just biting a frog off a tree, swallowing it whole. But you make your way back to the arena. The Ertos makes some arrangements to reconvene the council early. The seats are around the amphitheatre, not as full as they were before, but they are starting to fill up. And Queen Myrick addresses the crowd and says, "Defender Ertos, this is most irregular. But have your defendants completed the rite of investigation? Do they understand now why they are guilty of the theft of our dragon shards?" And Ertos speaks up and says, "My queen, my clients do not accept their guilt of stealing the dragon shards." And there is a wave of surprise and disbelief from the crowd. And Ertos continues, says, "My queen, they do not accept the theft of the dragon shards. They accuse Vargak of the theft of the dragon shards." And this time the chants around the crowd just turn to sort of disbelief and shock and outrage, and a lizard woman faints and a lizard man faints and a lizard child starts crying. And Queen Myrick looks down and says, "You have proof that Vargak has stolen these shards? It is a severe accusation you make. Evidence must be presented." Says, "Yes, my queen, we found this note in his personal quarters, which makes reference to sale of weapons to an EI. This is the EI soft skin, and just sort of pushes the floating magical dolly of Eric forward. Furthermore, we found his dwelling was marked on Vargak's tactical map in his personal quarters, and unfolds the map onto the podium. My queen, I accuse Vargak of the theft of the dragon shards. I accuse Vargak of attempting to assassinate Her Royal Highness. I accuse Vargak of bearing false witness towards these softskins in an attempt to incite a war with them. The Queen looks down and says, Softskins, do you support these claims?
Yes.
Talking to you guys.
Yes, we do.
At this point, Vargak is just incensed with rage and staring at you. Mick looks down and says, I have no wish for war with the softskins. They are a young race and they are still learning. I have little time for deceit. Vargak, you will be held and face trial. Irtos, you have made severe claims. You too will be held to stand trial. The softskins will be set free. I have no wish to further pursue their trial. Understand, if they are to enter our lands again, they will be imprisoned. Do you understand these terms?
Understood.
Are you keeping IE?
This one is held as material evidence. We will send one of our own to take their place.
Excellent.
At this point, you see a sort of pale blue lizard folk wander up, take a look at Eric, and then their entire body kind of like shimmers. If you didn't know Eric that well, this would pass as a disguise. And I just look at you and go, well, time for me to go back to my cold dwelling and eat me some dead food. Softskin things, am I right, fellow softskins?
That's true. That's what they all say. It's true. That's what you guys say.
Come on, let us go back to our softskin dwellings, where they are cold, to slow us
Soft-skinned dwelling.
down.
That's a good one. That's a good one. I'll write that one down. Oh.
Yeah, it's hilarious. Let's get out of here.
So,
I didn't get to kill the blacksmith.
you may get a chance yet, because that is where we are going to leave our adventure tonight. As the camera pulls back, you can see that you and the Eric imposter are making their way back towards the town of Whitecliff. Mick, can you make me a quick sleight of hand check, please, before we go?
Oh, that's a nat 20, so that's 26.
Nice.
Beautiful.
Well,
Whilst imposter Eric is distracted by just how warm the forge is and is basking, you take the opportunity to break into the safe and find the crate of dragon shards. And without raising any suspicion, transport them back to the smash and grab. Kallus and Mike, can you both make me a ranged spell attack of your choice, please?
I am gonna go with.
Do you want to do the Pulp Fiction thing? Do you still have Firebolt?
I do have Firebolt.
Let's both Firebolt.
Deal.
Deal.
That's a 24 to hit.
Yep.
That is a 24 to hit.
Nice.
And can you both roll me damage, please?
Oh, sure.
Eiffel Tower. 15.
3.
Perfect. It's enough. As you return to the smash and grab, it occurs to Kallus that they've been gone a while, and Nacho is just going ape shit on the top of the carriage. Like, his attacks aren't really doing anything. You can see the self-repair is kind of kicking in to heal over the damage. But rather than waste time, both of you just open fire, firebolt him, and reduce him to a puddle of liquid cheese. Kallus, you are able to collect up at least a pound of liquid cheese into a jar, which you then label up as Nacho, do not eat.
Fair enough.
And that's where we're going to leave it for tonight. So, my thanks once again to everyone for playing and everyone listening along on Twitch or catching up on the VOD when I eventually upload them to YouTube, because it's been a while. We will be back hopefully in 2 weeks' time on the 1st of August to do this all over again. Until then, stay safe, wash your hands, wear a mask, get your vaccinations where you can, and we'll see you next time. Good night.
Good night, Dice Roll fans.
Bye.